Today I'm going to be breaking down a real client commercial shoot. Now that includes gear, lighting, directing talent, and maybe just a few things I would do differently next time. Now, this particular shoot was for a custom menswear company in Toronto, and it was a pretty cool Christmas promotion that we were shooting. Now, the goal of this project was obviously to promote the brand, but additionally, it was to promote confidence in their customers. Now, Sartorial Santa in this video is going around giving confidence to all the people that come into the store by essentially gifting them custom clothing and making them feel confident in the clothing that they're wearing. Now, realistically, this video should just be fun, lighthearted, and really promote the brand, but also just promote a good time, be engaging for the viewers, and it ultimately just was that. Now, one of the first things to do when doing a project like this is to identify the budget. The budget of this project was good. It wasn't a super high production budget and it wasn't a low production budget, but it was somewhere right in the middle. It's not a huge team involved. You can get it done in one day. It's fun. Everyone there's having a good time. And those are realistically the reasons that a lot of us get into business is we enjoy doing this so much. So the more fun you can have on the shoot, the more fun the product is ultimately going to be. Now, with this particular shoot, we had one day to complete this project. Bringing in a huge team for a one-day shoot honestly just slows down the entire day, where if you have a smaller team, you're just more efficient and effective with your time. You can get things done a lot faster, and that's exactly what this shoot was. Now, the first thing I do on a shoot like this is create a mood board and a shot list. Because this is a one-day shoot, everything needs to go smoothly, quickly, and according to plan. Mood board and a shot list is definitely going to help that. This particular shoot wasn't directly my idea. It was collaborative with the talent, Santa Claus himself. So I asked him to provide me with a rough shot list of, how he saw the day playing out and some shots that he wanted to make sure he got. With all that information, I put that into a program called Millinote, and I create a mood board and a rough shot list that I have on my phone day of. This just helps me stay organized, helps keep everyone on the same page. I can cross off when I got the shot and we can move on from there. This doesn't need to be crazy. For some shoots, I make extensive mood boards that take me weeks to make, but this particular shoot, I spent an afternoon making this just so I could stay organized on the day of and make sure that I covered all my bases that day. Now, let's talk about the gear that I brought on this particular shoot. I used the Canon R5 Mark II for the entirety of the shoot. That was my main A cam. I also paired that with an RF 15-35 f2.8. Now, I didn't opt for a 35mm 1.4 or a cine lens or anything like that because I needed the versatility. Because this was a quick run and gun one day shoot, I wanted to be versatile and I also wanted to be efficient with my time. Switching lenses, figuring out what focal length I wanted to use was just going to take too much time for what the day was. So I had to think about something that was going to be versatile for all scenarios, and the 15-35 was definitely that. The 15-35 is an amazing lens, but it probably wouldn't be my main lens I would ever choose unless I needed the versatility. I do love how it looks. It's not that it's a bad lens by any means, but it's just not maybe a cine lens or a shallow depth of field lens. It just creates a little more separation for my subject. Ultimately, I was going to be probably shooting at 2.8 for the most part anyway, just to make sure everything was in focus. So it really wasn't a big deal. Now, I also had a monitor on top of the camera, and that basically just gave me a better vantage point on what I was shooting. Sometimes it's hard to see on the little screen, and it just isn't really in the right spot for where you're filming. So having the monitor on top just gives you a little bit more versatility on what you can see. I also had a shotgun mic on top of the camera, and I wasn't really actually recording audio for the most part of the day, but when I was, it worked perfectly fine. In hindsight, I probably would have used my lav mic, but I forgot it at home, and that's on me. Now, typically I always bring lighting. It is such an integral piece of a filmmaker's kit, and not knowing what the lighting is going to be like and making sure that you have the correct lighting. For this particular shoot, I've been to this location before. I know they have a lot of window light. I also knew it was going to be an overcast, kind of sunny day, so it was going to be pretty diffused lighting for the most part. So I kind of just risked it, and I didn't bring any dome lights. I did bring my tube light, and I brought a little key light as well, but it was only really necessary for one shot. Had I had more time and we had a few days to shoot this, absolutely I would have brought lighting because it just makes everything so much crisper and better. Vince also wasn't going to get into this full makeup 2 separate times. So again, we needed to get this done in one day, and using the lighting was going to just kind of be in the way. But I will say, if you have the option to bring lighting, definitely bring it. It takes a lot more time, but it does yield way better results. Now, for this shoot, we had a fairly small crew. We had Vince, who played Santa. We had a makeup artist who did all of the makeup, hair, beard, everything for Santa. We had a BTS videographer who helped me throughout the day. He also set up the GoPro on the back of the vehicle so we could get that kind of POV Grand Theft Auto type shot, so we didn't have to fly a drone in downtown Toronto. Now, in terms of the day of and how this day played out, we arrived on set fairly early. I always recommend getting there at least an hour early, but we got there a little bit earlier. Vince was still getting his makeup done, and it was great to just to chat with him about the day, see how things are going to play out. We got that all finished, and then we immediately started shooting. Now, the first thing we did was shoot a few promo shots just to promote the video itself, and to be honest, get these done first, because if you're going to do them throughout the day, you'll forget, and then at the end of the day, you're like, oh crap, I forgot to get that shot. If you get them done right away, they're the most easily forgotten about part. Get them done right away, and then they're over with for the day. As soon as we got the promo shots done, we started checking off things on the actual shot list. We started inside the store, got a few of the shots that we needed in there. Some people were going to be meeting us there later in the day, so we had to come back inside the store later in the day anyway. So then we moved to outside the store, got a few shots out there. Then we moved to the vehicle. So we got Santa driving in his sleigh. This car was actually supposed to be a Ferrari originally. Because the shoot got pushed back because of weather, that car actually got put into storage, so we weren't able to use that, but we still used a really cool Genesis as the vehicle, which had red interior. It looked awesome. We set up a GoPro on the back of the vehicle and then on the roof of the vehicle so we could get some shots of like a POV Grand Theft Auto type style, almost kind of like a follow shot for a drone, but flying a drone in downtown Toronto was going to be kind of a nightmare. So we decided, again, to be more effective with our time and more efficient with our time, to just set up the GoPro as a 360 cam and then just kind of use the shot that we wanted to get. It was going to be a quick shot anyway, so we just kind of stuck that in and it worked great. We then went to an office building and shot a few shots inside the office of Sartorial Santa fixing one of the guys presenting at a meeting, and that shot was awesome. It had a great view of the city and the sun was kind of setting in the back. We then headed to a speakeasy and got some shots in the bar downstairs. It was kind of Sartorial Santa handing out gift cards and handing out confidence to the patrons at the bar. Then they took a couple Santamigos shots, which was a milk shot, and that was kind of the wrap on the day. Now, whenever I do a project, I like to reflect on that shoot and think about things I would do differently for next time and just help me improve as a filmmaker. Because this was late in the year in Toronto and in Canada, we lose light. It's dark by 4:30. It did work out just fine because the last shot we were getting was in a bar downstairs where there was no lighting anyway, but I would have liked to have had a little bit more control over my light and just had that extra time to set things up. But then again, I don't know how long Vince wanted to be in the Santa outfit, so me pushing the shoot much longer kind of just prolongs what could have been done in a shorter amount of time without lighting. Now, I did bring the tube light and it actually was super helpful. I just matched the Kelvin to inside of the bar that I was at, and it was able to get a little bit more of a lit space there because it was fairly dark. And that's when I actually used the 35mm 1.4 because I needed to bring in a little bit more light. Now, if I could give a piece of advice just for any filmmaker or young filmmaker watching this, the biggest thing would be go throughout your day with confidence. When your clients see you, they want to see that you are confident in what you're creating. Now, not everyone is an actor. Not everyone is amazing in front of the camera. Not everyone feels comfortable in front of the camera. So if you provide confidence to those people, they're going to feel way more comfortable on camera. Give them a little subtle piece of advice. Like, instead of like saying this, let's tighten that wording up a little bit better so that it comes out a little more fluent for the video. And maybe that feels unnatural to do, but for the video, it makes more sense. Or instead of looking at me right when you finish the shot, let's look this way because that's where the next shot's going to be going. Just giving little subtle pieces of advice that will make that client feel more comfortable and make that client want to book with you again. Now, if I see a shot and he didn't walk the right way or he didn't do this the correct way, just redo it, run it right back, immediately do it again. There's no sense in doing the shot and be like, yeah, that was good. Take 2 or 3 takes, like get a few takes so that way when you're actually editing, if like you're like, oh crap, like I didn't like this, at least you have more takes to pick from. Never do anything on the first take. Even if it was perfect, do it again. Even if the next one was perfect, do it again. Because there could be something when you're actually looking at it on your 30-inch monitor that looks different than when you're looking at it on your 2-inch monitor on your camera. Even if you have to be efficient, even if you have to get throughout your day, make sure you take the time to set the shot up the way you want it and then get the result you're actually looking for the shot. I think these shoots with a small crew, a pretty good budget, and a fairly short shoot day are so important because it teaches you how to be efficient with your time, to manage people, and to get the results you actually want in a condensed amount of time, so that moving forward, when you do have a lot of time, you can really nail those shoots. You can use proper lighting. If you can do it in a short, condensed time frame, it'll make the world of difference for your filmmaking career. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. And yeah, thanks for all the support on the channel. Peace and love, y'all.